Good morning and welcome to Heart of the Matter Farm. I know normally I show the scenery, but I thought this morning I would show you my face so you can put a face behind the voice. My name is Lacey, and little background on me. I have grown up on a farm all my life, mostly dairy farms, and so I'm a farm girl at heart, a country girl, I guess, also. I love being outside. Got married 12 years ago. In May, it was 12 years I've been married. We have 4 kids. And when got married, my husband already had owned a ranch house. To me, it was in town, but most people would say it was outside of town, like country-like. To me, when you have neighbors so close, you're in town. That's just my perspective because I'm used to neighbors being pretty far away. So we lived there for 11 years. 11 years we lived at the ranch house. We sold our house because we were hoping to be able to buy a farm, because I had my goats at my husband's work, which is a family business. My father-in-law didn't mind having my goats there, but we just wanted them closer to home so we weren't constantly driving over, which it made it nice where we lived because we only lived a mile from his work. But we got tired of employees because they would drive past the house. The other workers would honk their horns, stop in. Some of them we didn't mind when they stopped in to say hi, but most of the time if we were doing something outside over the weekend, they would always ask, hey, what were you doing? You know, that kind of gets tiring after a bit. You kind of want your privacy from people you work with, especially when you're their employer. So we were hoping to buy a farm. That did not work out. The house got sold before we found a place. We did find a place that was on auction, but it went for more than what we could afford. Then we started looking like, oh crap, we got to find a place to rent. So we started looking, and of course we have 2 dogs, and at that time we had a cat in the house. And we were trying to find a place that would allow the dogs and the cats and not be an arm and a leg for having the pets in the house and like that. We couldn't find any place, and of course having 4 kids, you know, you got to find a place that you have enough bedrooms. And we couldn't find a place, and then I found this farm. And we did some looking into it and figured, you know, hey, we can afford this monthly rent. And, you know, let's try it, see how it does. And I'm thinking, okay, we're not going to fall in love with this place. Let's just do 6 months. Well, we was only here a month, and we're like, can we stay here forever? We absolutely love it. It's, like I said, 17.5 acres, maybe more. We cannot use the fields. They are rented out to somebody else. We would absolutely love to have the fields to put pasture up or to make into hay fields. So that way it's easier to make hay for the goats. But we can't use them. They're rented out to somebody else, which, you know, it's not a big problem. You know, it sucks, but you do what you deal with. We've got at least 7 acres of woods. I don't know how many more acres we've got here that is not the field. It's hard for me to determine all that. To me, I feel like we have more than 7 acres of woods. But who knows? Maybe because it's in a funky shape is why. But we absolutely love it. It's been a blessing. The kids are outside every day, playing around. If they get me frustrated, I can just send them outside to go play. and they can ride their bikes all over here. There's so much space, which has been, like I said, a blessing. And changing the schools, we weren't sure about that because we had to change it kind of in the middle school year. We haven't even been here a year yet. November will be a year that we've been here. And changing schools has been a very good blessing. My one son is high function autism, so finding a place that will help him to learn and to also not to give in to what triggers, like we're raising him that we know what will set him off, what are triggers for him, but we won't go out of our way to keep him from those situations, because we want him to be able to know how to react in those situations for when he gets older, that he knows, okay, this is what mom and dad taught me how to do of when I'm in this situation. So yeah, we're pretty much treating him like a normal kid. There are some days you can't. He's a very handful. But having a BSC and a TSS helps out a lot. So if you know somebody that has a kid that's on the autistic spectrum, have them get help. And make sure that they're willing to work with you. The people I deal with are such a blessing. They are so nice. And they're just wonderful. Chickens being silly out here. And then he's my oldest son. I have 2 girls and 2 boys. The oldest is 10 and the youngest is 5. So I've got my hands full. So, but back to the farm. We just love it here. We're very thankful. We would absolutely love to stay here forever. We keep praying that we can stay here as long as possible, because since we are renting this, the person that owns it, he is a developer. 4 or 5 years ago, Walmart was actually supposed to come in here. We're very thankful that did not happen. Otherwise, we would not have such a gorgeous place. And I have heard at least 2 more developers has backed out. And we're just keep praying that that keeps happening. We would absolutely love to buy this place, but we don't think we could afford the taxes that come along with owning this much property. We would, it's just, we're trying to think of ways, what could we do here that could, silly kitty, could help the community, that we could do stuff to help the community, that maybe it might convince the owner, hey, let's not sell this for development, let's turn this, let's keep going of helping the community out with things. I don't, it's hard to say. We just keep praying that the developers keep backing out and that we can stay here longer. So, yeah. So that's an update of everything that's happening here and what is going on. Another thing is, why do I call my farm Heart of the Matter? It was kind of at first a little joke between my husband and I, because we like that there is a song called Heart of the Matter. And of course right now I can't think of who sings it. I can hear it. It's an awesome song. I know it's an old classic rock song. But what kind of got it started was I have a friend that does do goats. She doesn't really like to bottle feed as much as she can. And I used to raise goats before I got married. Sold out of them when we got married. And then about 6 years ago, I got back into it. And that's from Olaf. He was given to me by my friend because she did not want to, she didn't want to bottle feed him. They were actually going to put him down. He was a triplet, and his legs, he wasn't very steady on his legs, and his mama didn't have enough milk for 3. And so she called me up and said, hey, I got a little buck kid, do you want him? And I was like, sure, why not? So, and so over the years, I've actually gotten 4 or 5 goats from her now over the years of buck kids that she doesn't want to bottle feed. And I will also take in other animals sometimes, like cats, and I would always take another dog. Like I love animals. I was going to go to school to be a vet, but I'm a hands-on learning person. 8 years of college would not do good for me. Then I was going to go to school to be a vet tech, but decided to get married instead. Now that doesn't mean I might not, once the kids start going to school full-time, like my youngest going to school, and I may look into seeing if I can do courses to become a vet tech still. So it's always in the back of my mind. So I do not have a problem doing stuff a vet would do. I've always wanted to be a vet since I first saw the vet come and do a twisted stomach on a cow on the farm. So yeah. So I put my heart into these animals, and so that's kind of why we decided to call it Heart of the Matter Farm. Because really, if you're going to have animals, you got to put your heart into it and do things that matter, and make tough decisions when it does come time to put an animal down as well. Because I've had to do that over the years with my goats and with my horse. I had a horse years ago, and we had to put him down because of old age. It was getting to the point that he was having a hard time walking around, and he wasn't putting the weight back on. And so we didn't want him to suffer there's a hummingbird, anymore. So we put him down. And like I said, I've had to have that done with some of my other goats and some cats and dogs and like that. But that is part of life. It is also part of being on a farm. You will have those things. So yeah, so that's it for today. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Have a great day.